Hi everyone. Welcome to the beginning of our new series that we're so excited about. It's called the Couple Diaries. So I know some of you have seen my little hint that I've posted to say that there's something coming up. So this is it. We're basically going to be interviewing couples that we know that we love spending time with and that we would like to share with you guys, so you guys can also get a feel and an idea of other couples. I've had other people giving me feedback saying that they would like to see and hear from other couples, just in case you think we're the only couples that actually like each other and enjoy spending time with each other. There's more. There's plenty more. So so we're going to jump right into it. This is Kudzi and Nozipho. Hi, guys.
Hey.
How are you guys?
How are you guys doing?
Good. We're good. How are you?
Good. How are you? No, we're
good.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for allowing us to invade your space and for giving us your time. So we'll get straight into the questions. So the first question is, what makes you guys work as a couple?
Oh.
I think we have always insisted on being pretty easy, and that's probably the number one thing. I think, those people that know us will know that we're pretty easygoing, and I think we allow each other to always take each other at face value, so things never get too complicated, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we enjoy spending time together. Like, he's my buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Did you want to say something?
And I think I would expound on that just to say that I think, in the beginning when you start, it's sometimes, it's easy to be easy. But I think as life becomes more complicated with kids, you actually have to become intentional, right?
Yeah.
About being easy. Otherwise, before you know it, the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You're, fighting each other. So I think, it can be work to be easy.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, next question is, how did you guys overcome, or do you guys overcome each other's differences? Because obviously you're two different people, so there has to be some, a way of coming together,
You start to ask.
You start. How do you overcome my...
How do I come? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I'm different.
With great difficulty, guys. No, I'm kidding. No, I think in the beginning it can be a bit of a challenge because you're learning how to communicate with each other. You're learning how to share space with each other and be with each other now like 24/7. There's no fronting. The first even year of marriage, you're still trying so much, and there's a lot of influences that may come. For example, the first year you're being told as a wife that this is what's expected. So it's things like that where I think as long as you communicate and are transparent, even when you feel that you're not being heard, you need to say that, or you're not being understood. And I think it's like what he said in the beginning, it's to remain light and take each other at face value. Because once you start having like those preconceived and having people tell you like, oh, if my husband, but you don't know behind closed doors, you know what people tolerate with each other. So yours might not be a gardener, but he might be a great provider. He might not be a great painter, but he might be more of a romantic one.
He takes you on date nights.
He takes you on date nights. So I think as long as you're true to each other and true to yourselves with what you expect of each other and keep checking in with each other, because you love the person wholeheartedly. And I think the most overrated thing are these deal breakers that people always talk about. Like once you're married, I believe that, all bets should be off.
Yeah,
It's now unconditional, and it's death do us part.
That was while you were dating, or while you were picking to date.
Yeah.
We're gonna just
Yeah, exactly.
we're gonna pause real quick, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the thing with overcoming challenges, and I often say, a marriage is just like any other relationship, whether at work or anywhere else. I think a lot of the time when people struggle with overcoming each other's differences is about, are you focusing on what's different, or are you focusing on what's the same? And when you focus on what's different, do you celebrate what's different, or do you complain about what's different? So the fundamentally, we have a lot of differences, but actually in the end, you find that, what that person likes to do that you don't like doing comes in handy. So actually it's pretty good that they're different, because she likes cleaning, I like cooking, so it kind of works out well. So you can spend your time wonder, stressed that why doesn't this person like cleaning, or you can appreciate that they like cooking. And I think that's just, then it doesn't feel like you have to overcome anything.
Mm-hmm. Very practical way of taking it.
Yeah.
So the next question is by far my favorite question. It says, was the fact that you come from different countries ever an issue? And if so,
that's
how did you
okay.
guys deal with it? Because there's quite a number of people that we know that have married across race, married across cultures and countries. So I think that's a very interesting question, and would like to hear your views on that.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is incredibly short. It's no.
No, actually we didn't.
No, it's never played. Eh?
So no, it's a non-issue.
It's a non-issue.
Yeah, I know it's a non-issue. And I think what was actually quite interesting was that, yes, we are cross-cultural and cross-country. So what was interesting though is that our families and our family values were very similar. So even our families, it wasn't that hard for them to actually come together and actually just celebrate each other and embrace each other. And I think the family background helps a lot with that. Because you get families where the aunts can be very hectic with that in particular, And for us, instead of our aunts and even our close family, instead of them focusing on the fact that we are coming from different countries, they actually embraced it. So they were keen to teach us both. So my family was keen to teach him about our culture, and it was vice versa. And also, even the outside influences. I remember for me, we did have people from my side, but maybe church friends or whatever, who kind of tried to make it an issue. But I think my parents actually just cut it short. So they never even made it, they never gave them the space to even go further with it. It was oh yeah, we know him, this is what he's about. We know his family, this is what they're about. So it was all good. So I think that actually really helps a lot also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, from a broader sense, or from a more generic sense, again, this was not our issue. But I think, it's also important at the time when people meet each other that you've got a very good understanding of who you are philosophically as a person, because that can cause a lot of issues for you. So I've always, and one of my friends knows, I've said this to Nigel a lot of times, that, I've always believed, at the end of the day, you're the one that's stuck in the house with that person. So if you want to now start caring that much about what your tete thinks or says, that's up to you. But I tell you, on a Thursday night at 8 p.m., they're not in your house. So better you find someone, or you're with someone who you can overcome all those, or that you enjoy being with, and then those things don't matter. But I think also have an understanding of, what role is your spouse expected to play in your family? So if you're the firstborn in a family of 10 and you live, at home, or you play a big support role to home, and you're bringing someone that has to carry that, yeah, maybe the expectations are different, so I think there's, again, there's a practicality to it. I think, I think there's a practicality to it. I think if your whole family can't speak English and you bring them someone who can't speak that language, and also there's problems in what you want to say. I mean, I think there's a practicality to it.
Yeah.
But I think people transition from that, eh? Because I remember, like, Kamboya would speak to me in Shona, but you also have to make that effort to kind of pick up and understand. So you can't be oblivious to it. Also, you have to embrace that. You speak different languages and you do come from different places. But I think more than anything, again, it's all about embracing. And like he said, also have be very clear on what expectations are there from the family, because the family is part of your life and there's nothing you can do about that. Going back also, they don't live with you though. So even as the other part, as the partner, it's kind of like if you have to grin and bear, it's only about 2 weeks max.
2 weeks a year, yeah.
So it's really a short part of your everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur. I think what's more important, because I find a lot of people that say, no, I never want to marry someone from this country. I never want to marry someone from that country. But I think what's really important is at the end of the day is the value. The bottom line,
the value.
Core, regardless
the core,
is from the core is really what's important.
Yeah, and where does difference start and end? Huh? I mean, again, this is another thing that we see. I mean, we've been blessed to live really all over the world. One of the things is that where does difference start and end? So, if you're in a Zimbabwe context, you say, Shona Ndebele, and then you go amongst the Shonas, Mzezuru Mkaranga, and then you go amongst the Shonas, or amongst the Mazezuru, then Mazezuru Kwajimba. And so where does it end? It's the same thing. You go in South Africa, you say, okay, white, black, colored. Okay, we're all black. Black, then, what are you? Are you Sotho? Are you Xhosa? Are you Zulu? No, okay, we're all Zulu. But where are you from? From North Coast or South Coast? It doesn't end. And then in the end, so differences are just what we make them.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. The next question is, what was the biggest challenge or biggest change for you guys from coming from being Kudzi and Nozipho to being mom and dad?
Oh, that one caught me off guard.
I think, I think, if I would answer again, and I can be accused of taking things too lightly, but again, I think we have always transitioned at our pace, irrespective of what's happening, right? So we went from single, married, the two of us. Then our firstborn came in, and when our firstborn came in, we had a much smaller family nucleus, the three of us. So we didn't have a live-in maid, for example, with a part-time maid that would come in, and she only did maid duties and not nanny duties. So we were very, very hands-on with the first one. We did absolutely everything. And then so when she became part of that nucleus, and then when the second one came in, she joined that nucleus, right? So it's been kind of like that, where we also, I think, are quite insistent on raising children in a way that they learn to be part of the lifestyle we've chosen, right? So in other words, you guys know, you've heard us talk about, we sleep train our kids because we want our kids in bed at 6:30. And they've been doing that forever, and it works well for us, because one of the things that happened that we didn't want is when we had our first one, for the first year, and she wasn't sleeping well, we lost a lot of our time, which is that time after work. When you come home after work, you chat, you catch up on the day, you watch your shows. But we lost that because one of us is continually going up and down to check on the baby and whatever. So it's a matter of, I think we again chose to say, hey, you know what, People say, hey, if you have a child, then you whatever. No, we don't want that, right? We didn't get that when we got married. So we don't want that having kids. So we want to continue in that way. So even now, our kids, they grow to understand, if they wake up in the morning, whatever, if they need to come ask us for something, if we're still sleeping, they'll ask, they'll get back out of the room and they'll go do it, sort themselves out. So we teach them that level of independence. So I think, again, we very much work on championing the change, right? So the change is going to come. So don't act like it's not going to come. It's going to come. And how do you get ahead of it?
Yeah. Yeah, it also took us about 5 years actually to have our first child. So it was just the two of us for a
while,
decent amount of time. So I would say like the biggest challenge though was the sleep and us losing that time. So, and also how we overcame that, I think always whenever you feel like you're doing it together though, it does help a lot. I think it's very easy, especially in that first year of having a child, for one or the other partner to feel neglected one way or the other. So, also to nip that in the bud. So that's why we actually ended up deciding, like, let's try the sleep training. We've got nothing to lose at this point. And it worked for us. So
and you do it together. I think you put such a good point there is, there's this funny thing that I think is quite funny all the time, right? It's like, couples have a child, yeah? And then, the dad, as always, like, does very limited things, yeah? And then the mom is super hands-on, right? And then 2 years later, the dad's like, she changed when she had a child. Yeah. but you didn't. She had to do everything together, right? Right. So the priorities change. So the priorities change, right?
Yeah.
So if you want those things, I think it's a part of understanding that you want them together. So, of course things have changed and even the kids adjust. So I'm a very early riser. She doesn't like waking up so early. We've got one kid that wakes up early, one kid that wakes up a bit later. And the kids they know, okay, these, like me and the first one, we wake up early and her and the younger one wake up late and everybody gets it. And the household works and not being shady.
No. Yeah, you just say. It's true though.
Yeah.
No, that's good. You guys gave a really great answer, and it's just evident the level of communication, the structure you guys have. But the most important thing that I picked up is the intentionality between the two of you to be aligned with everything in your marriage, and that is something that is so key. You can't have one pulling to the left and the other pulling to the right.
Yeah.
Decide to have kids, it's a family decision. So both of you are involved in that. So you guys have a great answer.
Like you can't just let it happen, Jay.
Yeah.
It just happens. It's happening to you, and you don't. That's a lot of people and a lot of marriages and couples. It's everything is just happened. You just fell into this marriage hole. You don't know what happened. We're dating for a while, so we just got married.
Okay, that marriage thing, though, that marriage thing, it can't just happen, eh? Like that needs to be a discussion.
Yeah.
But also like I feel like people. Anyway, it's your show, not mine. I can say what I want. But so I feel like people like do this weird thing, right? They do this thing like they date, get married, have kids, like boom, 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 like super fast. And that's cool. But like for us, I think that's how sometimes you lose the intentionality. So we had a lot of fun, and you lived with us, so when we were married before we had kids, we lived. We traveled. We partied. We were laughing about it the other day. We used to on a Sunday and on a Saturday morning, we'd be waking up at 10 in the morning, and
passed out on the couch.
We used to watch TV on Friday nights. We'd each take a couch. We wouldn't even go upstairs to bed. We'd each take a couch. We'd watch TV on Friday night until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and whatever. So the thing is that, so by the time the kids come out, we did the clubbing thing, we did the whatever. So it was cool. Like, okay, the phase was there, and it was done. It's cool. We enjoyed it. So the thing is that now I think if you then also try rush into everything, as though there is a shotgun against your head, I think you lose the ability to be intentional with your decisions.
Yeah. And then you feel like life is just happening to you, and then you have kids, and then you're miserable.
And you're trapped.
That's why most people feel that marriage is a trap.
You feel trapped, you feel miserable. Oh, this woman,
my favorite one, marriage is hard. I hear people say marriage is hard.
Marriage is hard. They are struggling out there, this marriage thing, apparently.
Man.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, we better move on to the next question. Don't let me get into that.
Thank you, guys. That's all we have for you guys. Thank you.
Oh,
don't worry. We can do another. We'll do another session again.
Sounds like fun.
This was fun. So thank you, guys. Until next time. I'm sure everyone's.
Until next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.